welcome to the African News broadcast from Canada. My name is Sandra Asante. Top stories. Tigray's capital hit by new airstrike, report says. Ethiopian troops sent to Tigray warn front. Ethiopia airstrikes kill 3 children, UN says. This and more stories coming up after the break. Stay tuned. You are welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for staying with me. To our first story, Tigrayan forces said Mekelle, the capital of war-torn Tigray region in the northern Ethiopia, has been hit by airstrike for the second time this week. Kandaya Gabrihiwot, a member of the Tigray People's Liberation Front TPLF's Central Committee, tweeted about the airstrike being carried out in the city around 10:20 local time, that is 7:20 GMT. Residents have also confirmed the attack. The federal government has not said anything about the reported attack, but the Ethiopian Air Force carried out 2 airstrikes on Monday, saying it targeted communication infrastructure used by the TPLF. UN says 3 children were killed in Monday's air raid. These are the report of an intensive, renewed fight between Tigray forces and Ethiopian army and its allies. During Tigray, Ethiopia, the Ethiopian government soldiers are being sent towards the front line of the conflict with the Tigrayan insurgents. Witnesses in the northern Ethiopia have told the BBC. The journalist from America's NPR radio station in the town of Kombolcha said the troops were accompanied by government ally militias equipped with an improvised weapons, including machetes, axes, and horse. They said they feared being killed by the Tigrayans if they failed to halt their advance. The BBC cannot independently verify the account by Kombolcha is also filled with desperate people fleeing Tigrayan-held areas, in some of which the UN says famine-like conditions have developed because of the government blockade. The Tigrayan spokesman said that forces were advancing to push being the enemy, but they said they were still far from Kombolcha. Still on the airstrike stories, 3 children has been killed on Monday in an airstrike in the outskirts of Ethiopia's northern city of Mekelle, the UN has said. A second airstrike in Mekelle town later in the day reportedly injured 9 people and caused damages to houses and a nearby hotel, said Jens Lenke, spokesman for the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA. The bombing was carried out by the country's Air Force in its ongoing offensive against the forces in the northern Tigray region. The government has initially called reports of the airstrike an absolute lie, but later confirmed the operation, saying it was against forces linked to the Tigray Liberation Front. Mr. Leke said the intensification of the conflict is alarming and urged both sides to protect civilians. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government has resumed its military operations against the forces after a setback in June. The war, which started nearly a year ago, has killed thousands of displaced millions of people. Hundreds of thousands of people are facing famine-like conditions, according to the aid organization. Both warring sides have been accused of committing atrocities, which they deny. To our final story in Sudan, and Sudanese Prime Minister Hamdallah Hamdok has formed a crisis cell to resolve what he called the country's most dangerous political crisis since the 2019 military coup. State news agency SUNA reported Mr. Hamdok announced the committee, which includes members of opposing political blocs, during an emergency cabinet meeting in Khartoum on Monday. He called for restraint and dialogue to end weeks of political tensions that have threatened to derail the country's transition to democracy. His comment came after police dispersed military-backed protests demanding the dissolution of the transitional government. The protest began on 16th of October in front of a presidential palace to call on the army to seize power. Sudan is currently run by Joint Military Civilian Sovereign Council in a coalition that was troubled by a failed 5th September coup attempt. The military wing is scheduled to hand over the leadership of the Sovereign Council to the civilian component next month, although there is speculation that the coup attempt was a move to scuttle this transfer. This is where I end the African News for today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sandra Asante. Do have a splendid day.